And welcome back, everybody. This is Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. Back again for another segment, joined by my co-host here, Phil Hargis. Phil, welcome.
Hey, man, it's great to be here. It's Marine Corps Marathon time of the year.
Marine Corps Marathon, and we are joined today by the race director of Marine Corps Marathon, Rick Nealis. Rick, hello.
Hey, Chris, Phil, how you doing?
Thank you for joining us. We're doing great. Wanted to quickly talk about this race, the 37th. Jumping ahead here, 37th running of the Marine Corps Marathon, the People's Marathon. Why is it the People's Marathon?
There's a couple of reasons. Go back maybe a little folklore in 37 years, but I think the first was that it was determined and by the Marine Corps that we were not going to go down and have prize money. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably was probably revolutionary, and maybe even some people thought just not mainstream, because every race wanted to have prize money to bring big runners into the race. So no prize money. And really, that lends it to that. Our focus is on the people. When you look at New York and Chicago and Boston, you hear a lot about the elite runners who are coming in, and those who are going to, world records. You're not getting a world record. My course record is still 25 years old, which is phenomenal with all the improvements that we have made in our sport. And I think it goes a little bit that one. Fast course is not important for us. It's more important, as the People's Marathon, is to give as many monuments, as many statues, as much beauty that we can give our runners and showcase the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area. And, so that's, I think, is probably the two key, is that one, we're there for the people. The Marines organization skills will guarantee that the runners have to focus on running, and they don't have to worry about if we're going to run out of water, if we're going to run out of medals or shirts or orange peels. No. Everything's going to be there.
The logistics with the Marines, logistics are going to be A-OK. Some fun stuff as always this year. Someone from the Rocket City Rednecks running.
Dr. Travis Taylor. I mean, his show is out there.
It is.
I mean, if you haven't watched this show, I mean, it's a family. It's his father. It's his cousins. It is a family affair. And what they are doing is taking their love of science and working with the National Geographic, and his being a marathon runner, and combining those two things to produce that he has a suit that he's hoping will save lives in the future from the IEDs that are crippling.
So military guys will wear this Kevlar suit.
It's a Kevlar suit that he is. I think he has tweaked it to be more flexible and maybe even lighter. Which is really what you would need on the battlefield. And he's been training on it. He's a runner, and that was one of the things that don't take 26.2 miles lightly. And so he's been training on it. But he's going to come out, and I think it's going to inspire. I think young people are going to see more about science, and when he comes across the finish line, that maybe that this suit is onto the right track, and down the line, if it saves lives, what a great story.
Great way to highlight it, yeah. So look for that guy. And YouTube, if you haven't seen it on YouTube, you hit me to the YouTube video. It's really good, so check that out.
It's amazing what he's going to do with that suit,
man. No doubt.
40 extra pounds.
Well, that's good. That's going to be really neat. Other things to look out for there. You don't have the fastest or world record runner times out there, but you do have some returning champs this year.
We do. It's the first time that we're going to have 6 of our returning champions actually running. Because we don't have prize money, so normally another race would have a returning champion, and he would have appearance money, and of course there's more money to to go on and win it a second time. So our 6 returning champions are coming because they love Marine Corps. I mean, they could probably go somewhere else and maybe get a couple dollars in their pocket, but they're coming. But if you want somebody fast, but she's not running, Shalene Flanagan is coming in.
Right.
I mean, she was the 10th. Female finisher at London.
At the Olympics.
I mean, she bronze medaled in 2008. As an Olympian, but in the marathon when she came in 10th, our first female, and she's going to be there. And she's not running because I'm putting her to work that day. She will be starting our wheelchairs and hand cycles at 7:40. So I'm sure she's going to ask me at the last minute for a bib number, but the race is closed. It's closed.
It's sold out. Yep. So that we'll look forward to seeing her out there. A lot of great stuff. 30,000 runners. There's going to be a 10K. There's a kids dash on Saturday. TV coverage this year starting at 7:55 on NBC, which is going to be really neat.
That's cool.
Congratulations for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're excited about so many new things, and I think, and one of the things we do is, we try not to forget the people, and we have 2 programs that we do with that, and one is our Hall of Fame,
Yep.
and the fact that we have an opportunity this year to bring Susan Mallory,
Yep.
who won the first 2 years in 1976 and 77. Now, if my numbers are right, there was only 24 women running a marathon in 1976, and she came in first. That should not take away the accomplishment, because we've got to remember that women, as a sport in marathon, it wasn't until 1984 when Joan Benoit went on to win the gold medal.
That was the first time it was in the Olympics,
So
right?
1976, she was still, women were not welcome or thought of that they could run long distance running. So it's amazing that she was able to do 96, 76 and 77. So we're glad to honor her. And then really another true athlete from the 80s, Brad Ingram. When you look at his record over a long period, he came in second a couple times. He did come in first 2 times. He was a Marine, an artilleryman. So we found time to, I don't know how we found time. I was amazed that we were both out in California, in 1978. And I'm sure I was beating him back then. I'm going to have to look into the record books. Yeah. But Brad is just, it's wonderful that we're able to put him in the Hall of Fame. And then Stu Gerson, who is a member of our ad hoc publicity committee, not only to recognize athletes, but also those who volunteer for the sport and who are not runners, but love the sport and give something so much that, to be able to, for us to run. So 3 great people being inducted in the Hall of Fame.
A lot of exciting stuff. My favorite race of the year, Phil.
It's always a fun weekend, and there's always tons of stuff to do.
No doubt. Well, thank you guys. For Rick Nealis, Phil Hargis, I'm Chris Farley, and this has been another edition of Gotta Get Running on Run Washington TV. Thanks, everybody.